If you have already seen Interstellar, this scene might feel different than what I remember. That's because I turned off the score.
All of this is one little girl's bedroom.
I always had a question about the score of the music, especially in this part of the climax. This scene is the ultimate scale of epicness. It's almost like they turned the epic knob to 11. But I always wondered, when a composer is asked to make music to this kind of massive space movie with rockets, planets and time-shifting black holes, you would expect that to be something like this, right? But instead, the director Christopher Nolan and the music composer Hans Zimmer chose a very unconventional sound. When musicians are making scores for their music, they are always ambitious and careful to tailor them so they stick with the core theme of the movie and the scene. And in this case, Hans Zimmer, the guy who made the music, is one of the best at his job. So why the theme of Interstellar doesn't sound like space? So let me make something very clear. What I mean by the sound of space is this stereotypical Hollywood high-pitched brass music we can hear from Star Wars, Captain Marvel, etc. Technically the space is a vacuum, so there cannot be any sound. So yeah, just want to make that clear. I need you to pay attention to the music in this scene.
Solar cells can power an entire farm. Take the wheel, Tom.
Side note, this sequence is just fantastic. So this piece of music is what we all recognize as the main theme of Interstellar. And it's basically the base for every track in the movie. But what I want to take a closer look is at this track called Cornfield Chase. I think we all can agree that it's the first thing that we remember as the sound of Interstellar. And if we can understand what this single piece represents, we can put a marker on what this whole movie is all about. The actual meaning. Look, Hans Zimmer is not a stranger for doing weird stuff like this. For example, the score of The Dark Knight sounds nothing like your classic superhero film. He practically reinvented the whole superhero theme song genre. Also, there's a funny story how he worked with the co-composer for Batman and how he really pushed the guy's talent to its limits.
It's my friend Martin Tillman on the cello, and you know, here's a great classically trained cellist who knows how to play 1,000 notes a second beautifully, and I'm asking him to do this inhumanly slow glide, and every time he does it, it sounds like he's acting. So I wrote him a piece which was like 1,000 notes, and it was really hard to play, and it was really fast, and it was really agile, and I made him play it all day until his fingers hurt. And then I said, can we just tune up? Can you just give me a tuning note? And he was so tired. I'm not saying I'm a nice human being.
You're not a bad person, Hans.
So he was so tired, and he was so played out with fast notes, and that was that.
Poor guy, man. And what we got to learn from those movies is that the placement of the music piece is highly determined by the emotion each scene is trying to reference, which means the emotion of the scene is the same or emphasized by the score. So if we could figure out what the scenes which the main theme is played means, we can understand the core of the movie. So I rewatched Interstellar several times, but with the luxury of being able to turn up the volume of the sound channel inside my video editor. And honestly, without it, it's hard to hear anything the characters say.
What sort of gravitational line? Where was this?
Hey, no, I'm real happy that you're excited about gravity, Bud, but you're not getting any answers from us until I get assurances.
This is a real thing, we all have IMAX screens in our homes. So while I was watching with that overclock sound, I came across some really interesting ways the sound design and the editing has been used in the film. Like in this scene when Cooper and Dr. Mann are fighting, they cut to an upper view shot of them and the score itself gets quieter to contrast how insignificant this conflict is in the macro scale. But to us, it's everything. We hear the main theme playing for the first time when Cooper pulled over the truck and Murph is feeling real bad because she's named after the Murphy's Law, and he comes to her to make her understand that it's not a bad thing.
What's going on, Murph?
This might not seem like a very significant moment, but this is the place the filmmakers have decided to put the strongest theme of the film.
So listen to me when I say that Love isn't something we invented. It's observable, powerful. It has to mean something. Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space. Maybe we should trust that, even if we can't understand it yet.
The father and daughter relationship between Cooper and Murph is the key motivation factor that drives the plot, and by that, the actions of Cooper. Without that, Cooper would have agreed with Dr. Brand and Professor Brand to follow the Plan B. And without that, the fifth dimensional Tesseract would not be possible. Simply, there wouldn't be a ghost. There wouldn't be a ghost to send coordinates to NASA and the quantum data of the black hole. The future of humanity is set on this strong foundation. Actually, this becomes even more clear what Hans Zimmer himself besought this score from.
And this letter arrived. And the story itself was about a father and a son and the relationship, or what it means to be a parent. I mean, there's a line in it that, once your child is born, you never look at yourself through your own eyes. You always look at yourself through your child's eye. So I wrote this fragile, tiny little piece. Anyway, I played it to him, get to the end of it, and I turn around and I say, so what do you think? And he pauses for a second, looks around, and he looks at me and goes, suppose I better make the movie. Yeah, what is the movie? All I've done is this fragile little...
By the way, this podcast is so good. I'll leave a link in the description. There's one more thing about this score that made me appreciate it even more. Let's try to apply this logic of love in here.
Do you remember? Do not go gentle.
So what Cooper's seeing here is his communication transmitter. But why did the score start to play when he sees them? It kinda came out of nowhere, right? But no. In fact, it's perfect for the scene. Cooper is about to die, and seeing this transmitter gives him hope. It's really fascinating that the score is made in a way that conveys the ideas of love and hope at the same time. It's really wonderful. Alright guys, that's it for this video, and let me know what you think about this score. This field of music is really interesting, right? And also, I'll make sure to put all the links for the references and all that stuff down in the description, so check them out. And reach me on Twitter, or X if you will. Thanks for watching. Bye.